Hi, my name's Brian Whittington. I'm the founder of EBS Growth and host of the Talent, Sales, and Scale podcast. Today, what I wanted to share with you is a little bit of a high level overview about how we can do top of funnel get after the market type of activity. So I'll go ahead and put the slide deck with the video. It's going to be showing up right here, so you can watch the videos that goes along with this. So here we go. I'm going to shut me off so I don't get in the way. So as we look at this, the bottom line of what we want clearly is accelerated revenue growth, sustained year-over-year growth. And the way that we look at doing that is a couple of things. One, list. The list, what we found is the most important thing. That list development is the strategy. The list is a strategy, defining that target, defining the ideal customer profile, the personas, the positioning statements, the call to actions, the value prop. All of those things, yes, are important, but if we don't have the list, the right contact information, we can't get after them no matter what channel that we use. So with that said, what we've gone to is a gentleman by the name of Ryan Reisert, and I've been working through this. And so it's a couple of different buckets. Bucket one is new data coming in. So we use really good human validated data that we put into the system. And then from that new data, if it gets validated even further, goes to bucket two, so that we show that it's the right name, the right contact, the right type of companies. Yet they've not replied yet. We don't have a conversation. Once we do get a conversation or some type of reply, that goes to bucket three. So they reply, and now we know their preferred communication channel, whether telephone, email, social, or whichever channel that they choose, that goes into bucket three. So now we can continue to nurture and work on them until we can put it to bucket four, which is a good, effective, quality meeting. So that meeting booked goes into bucket four, and we do all that we can to ensure that it stays kept, right? So we take the booked meeting to a kept meeting. And then lastly, bucket five is whenever we have strategic account management. So the cross sell, upsell. So once we land that account, let's take advantage of that, take advantage of all the hard work, the relationships, and make sure that we can cross sell, upsell, less expensive sales process, more likelihood of winning, usually a lot more profitable with that cross sell upsell. So that bucket five is a land and expand strategic account management play. Now, if it doesn't go into any of those buckets, we want to remove it because it's bad data. And so we'll take that data, put it back to our team to get it appended, corrected, or replenish the data that is taken out and moved out of that prospecting stage and going into the strategic account management stage of clients. So that's really the list development. And from that list development, we really have to identify the four M's of sales revenue: the total addressable market, what's our market? Two, what's the message we're going to deliver to that market? How are we going to position ourselves? Three, the medium and through which we send that message. So what channels are we going to use? Social, email, telephone, and then lastly, that messenger. How effective is that messenger? And really, this is a picture of that. So we take the ideal customer profile, the size companies, number of employees within that company, the verticals, who are we going after with those titles? Those are our unqualified leads that go through our bucket system to where we go to bucket four, that marketing qualified lead. So that's a first time meeting booked. And then from that first meeting booked, when they show up, then we have a sales qualified lead. So that's a kept opportunity. And usually about 60 to 70% of those sales qualified leads end up going to opportunity management. And that from that opportunity management or pipeline management, we're going to get some to closed won, or we're going to put them back into a nurture campaign and continue to work with them. So that's a combination of us touching them or marketing touching them through nurture campaigns. And so to keep in mind, this comes from Chet Holmes' work, there's only 3% of the market that right now have an immediate need. And those are usually the most price sensitive, challenging to get top margins, and they're a difficult sales cycle, but they're going to be immediate. That's 3% of the market. 7% of the market right now is looking, considering maybe next quarter or a couple of quarters out. So they have a problem or searching for some solutions. Now, 30% don't even realize that they have a problem. So we're going to absolutely hit them. 30% have no interest right now whatsoever. So they don't have bandwidth. They have too many other pressing priorities. Maybe they have some other viewpoints that don't align with you. So 30% have no interest right now. But the curious thing is, things change quarter after quarter. So that 30% who have no interest might end up becoming that 30% that are not considering anything and are not opposed to what you're doing. And then lastly, 30% just bought or a hard no, and they're sticking with status quo. So that's 100% of the marketplace. And what we do from our team, our technology, is we're able to hit that whole entire market. No matter where they are, we can hit them and warm them up. Now, to do that, we need to know the math of sales. And the math of sales looks at the ratios: outreach to connections, or that reply rate to meetings booked rate to kept rate, and so it goes down through the funnel. So depending on the most important two things, one, that engagement level from outreach to engagement, how many of those actually book to a meeting after we have a conversation with them. So you can see here the difference between 2.5% versus 9% here. That's going to be as we go to the bucket three lane. So net new list to bucket 3 lane, and this can get even higher. You'll notice just a subtle difference here changes the total number of required activities. So the longer we stick with this, the more systematic we are, the better it works. Here's a little bit about how we can do such high amount of outreach. So we leverage technology. So a typical salesperson is going to do about 50 outreach attempts per day. So your standard inside SDR, BDR, whatever we want to call it, inside salespeople, person that does outbound demand generation, is going to do about 50 attempts. So that's about 1,000 attempts per month. And we can do about 80 attempts an hour and easily do 4,000 attempts per month per salesperson that we put on here. So this gives you a sense of how we leverage technology to do that. And then you have complete control and visibility into what the numbers are saying, how are they working. So we can adjust and work off of those benchmarks to improve. Is it the list? Is it the message that we're conveying to that list? Is it the salesperson that isn't converting? So we'll have control and visibility into all of that information and be able to adjust appropriately. So next steps would be really, hey, should we set up an exploratory conversation to go over these things? You can use the link that's going to be in the calendar invite, and we'll go from there. Thanks so very much. We'll talk to you soon.